All right, today we face the biggest challenge of a short cruise. Do you spend your limited time exploring Nassau, or do you stay aboard and try to explore the boat some more and experience everything you paid for? Because supposedly there's less people. So we're gonna go to shore for a little bit here on Nassau, then get on back on the Getaway early and see what the atmosphere is like while we're in port of Nassau. This is Brent. Welcome to Brent's Crossroads for NCL Getaway Day in Nassau. First, my tip: catch the buffet at the American Diner to avoid the rush of people at the Garden Cafe. There's hardly anybody here, and you just walk up. They have an omelet station. They have a toaster. It's a lot more limited menu than what you would get on the Garden Cafe, but to get in and out for a breakfast fast, this is my tip: American Diner. All right, so Nassau, I have returned. We've been to Nassau many times, and on this adventure, we're going to be in Nassau on both cruises. So we're going to do something a little bit different for each cruise. For this one on the Getaway, what we decided to do, it'd been a long time since we've gone to some of the more touristy spots close to the port. So did a close to 3 mile, it was about 2.8 mile circle, starting at the port, then looping back around and coming back to the port. And I'm going to do a separate video with my guide with all the distances and the maps and all of that. This is just going to be kind of an overview of the things you can do while you're doing a quick exploration in Nassau. First off, as soon as you exit through, most people will turn here to the right to head through the shops and head to the big exit out of the port down by the straw market. You're going to want to, instead of going this way past the duty-free store and the Museum of Junkanoo, you're going to want to pass by the Museum of Junkanoo, and there's an exit out here to the street.
At least when I have to tell you, hey, the pharmacy's this
and
way.
this isn't used by as many people to exit, so it doesn't get as congested. So first stop, the Queen's Staircase. And the Queen's Staircase was carved as the stairway to get to Fort Fincastle at the top of the hill. And it's 66 steps carved in solid limestone by the enslaved populace between 1793 and 1794. And it's named in honor of Queen Victoria, which is why it's called the Queen's Staircase. And like I said, it served as a shortcut to get to this place, Fort Fincastle. Right now, we learned that the castle is closed, so there's a fence around it. So the normal road that you would walk up to it from the Queen's Staircase is closed. So you have to walk down to Prison Street and come up a hill, but there's kind of a walking path, and then walk this path here up to the top of the hill.
It's the Timu Queen Staircase.
There was the Timu Queen Staircase. Yeah, this kind of surprised me. I didn't expect there to be a fence around Fort Fincastle. And in the water tower, yeah, because like all these used to be shops, local shops.
Okay, see all these.
And it was only used to be like $3 to get in. And the times we've been there before, we never went in. I was actually prepared to go in this time, so hence the fence. But one good thing about Fort Fincastle, yeah, is you get these stunning views of, you can see back to the ships at the port. You can see out to Atlantis. And here's the view of from kind of the path around. It still has the cannons. You can still walk around it. Then our next stop is the Government House on our walking tour. Come to this nice sign that points out a bunch of the stuff that you can go to that's close. So now we're going to walk on over to Graycliff Hotel, the Graycliff Chocolate Factory and Cigar Factory. like I said, you'll be able to see these more in depth and more of the walking path and the maps in my full port video. And if you're taking notes for haunted places, Graycliff Hotel is one of those haunted places, as well as Fort Fincastle. But since we can't get in, it doesn't matter much. Here's the hotel. And you have to be really careful when you're walking to these places because there's not a lot of good sidewalks. And here's the chocolate factory. Their chocolate's okay. Come back here to the back. When you exit the chocolate factory, besides the tile work, building down there is the cigar factory. The cool little plant you can write your name on. So this isn't about seeing everything, but deciding what deserves your limited time. And that's why you can do this walking tour in about half a day and then leave you plenty of time to get back on the ship. We haven't been inside here. Stop 5, the National Art Gallery. This is just on the corner opposite, down when you finish walking the block from Graycliff. Because we are walking on our way to the Watling Distillery.
So I remember we went in the cathedral.
Going to pass the cathedral here before you get to Delaney Street. Beautiful, beautiful buildings on this walk. Now, if you want to try some rum and vodka, just keep walking over here to John Watling's Distillery. And as soon as you walk in, be sure to head here to the right along this wall, because this wall is famous for a scene in the Daniel Craig's 007 James Bond movies. It's a really nice place if you like movie filming locations. And John Watling's has a great atmosphere. The tours are free. It's a stop on a lot of if you take ship tours, excursions, or if you take private tours. This is always one of the places that's on it. This is the main house. It also features the gift shop. So there's like your gift shop over here. The 2 stories is the main house building. You can't go explore all of it. You can only explore the main level where there's some exhibits and pictures and things. And then there's the tasting room, the all-important tasting room where you can buy flights to sample. They have a slew of different mixed cocktails that use the rum and vodka made at John Watling's. So of course, you know, we're gonna try a cold beverage because it was kind of warm outside on our walk. And outside is a food truck, and one of the things I like to try when I go places in the Caribbean is conch fritters, and those were fantastic. Now we walk down to Junkanoo Beach, which from John Watling is about an 8-minute walk. And as you can see, when you have 7 to 8 ships in port, Junkanoo Beach, since it's a free public beach, gets very, very crowded. But it's closer to the Margaritaville Hotel. It's full, but as you go further down, there's more space, and that's just because people just park the closest they can. They don't want to walk down any further.
Lighthouse is still over there.
It was a very busy port day. I can't remember if it was 7 or 8 ships that were in port. So now when we're leaving, we're going to head down to Marlborough Street. It's the outside of the Margaritaville Hotel, which you can get day passes for the hotel. just to use the beach area. They have shops in there. There's a Margaritaville gift shop inside that you can stop off at. Royal Caribbean's got an office right there. So the next place we're going to stop, you can either still follow to the left, or if you turn to the right, you come to this area, which is a nice walkway. There's some outdoor seating, but this is where the Pirates of Nassau is located, the museum. And on your haunted bingo cards, this is another place that's supposedly haunted. Said overall, it's a cool attraction. Especially if you have a family, kids will enjoy it and think it's really neat. A lot of cool displays. And one thing, if I'm always off the boat in Nassau, that I have to go get when I'm down this area is have to go get some ice cream. So we're going to come out here to the street and we're going to hang a left. Head down to the main strip. Because it's ice cream time. And this sweet shop and ice cream shop is the second story, that souvenir shop. They have homemade fudge, other treats. Their ice cream is fantastic. Said always stop here. And it's across the street from the Pompeii Museum. And so after that, we're going to head back to the ship. Because normally we'd spend more time exploring Nassau, but this was just kind of a refresher, kind of going through some things again. But on a 3-day cruise, every hour matters if I'm trying to get my money's worth out of the ship. And then you pass the straw market. Didn't go inside the shop really this time. And I did step inside, and in the full video, the full tour of the port video, you'll see that. So, going to head back to the pier to get back to the ship, to the Getaway. And this was mid-afternoon, and we still had 3 or so hours left before we needed to be on board. And I don't know if it was just our ship, but there was a lot of people headed back. So we thought we'd catch some onboard entertainment whenever we got back on, because we weren't hungry, so we didn't go eat. Watched a video about the new Aura ship launching in 2027. Can't wait to go on that. Yeah, caught one of their game shows. It's really weird, the game shows, because they don't really get trophies. I like ships on a stick. As you can see, it was packed in here in the main atrium area for the stage. A lot of the seats were taken. The bar was full. I was really kind of surprised by how full things were. I was expecting the ship to be emptier, and I was really, really so shocked. A lot of people had the same idea. Just go spend a few hours in the port, come back. And I wondered, did anyone get off of the ship? Because I was expecting more empty decks, and I really didn't find it. It said the pools were full. There was a bunch of chairs taken. The restaurants were full if they were open. The bars were full. So if you want to make your most of the time on the ship, you may need to stay on the ship in the morning and get off later, if you get off the ship. We did something totally different on the Getaway than what we did for the seaside, and be in Nassau 2 more times this year. God help me. But one of them I'm going to be at the Royal Beach Club, so that won't be bad. Now it's time for some dinner at Moderno's. This is one I've been really looking forward to, and I'm going to have a separate full review. You start off with a salad bar. My tip, be careful, do not fill up at the salad bar, because whenever they bring around the meat, there are 10 different meats to try. And along with the 10 different meats, there was also this fantastic grilled pineapple. And if you want more meat, green side up. If you want them to stop feeding you meat, turn your red card around. And then here's kind of your table: mashed potatoes, some rice, some black beans. And this is how they bring you the meat. It comes on a spit. You have some tongs. They cut it. You take it off. But they will bring around 10 different kinds. So this is where you don't want to fill up on the salad bar. I saw a guy get like 3 plates from the salad bar before the meat started coming around, and he was tapping out before they brought all the meats out. Here's the pineapple. It had a cinnamon glaze on it, and it was grilled, and it was fantastic. I could have had a meal of just the pineapple. And then they actually did have a dessert, which they were okay. If you're going to Moderno's, you're going for the meat, for the grilled meats. Here's a couple bit more of the ship. We have Shanghai's, which we will eat at on the last night, on Ocean K night. Not Ocean K. Man, these cruises smash together in your mind when you're doing back-to-back, side-to-side cruises. You lose track of what you're doing on what ship. It's like Bliss nightclub, the casino, which the casino was usually hopping. Since we were in port, casino's not open. Getaway box office, back to the Getaway theater. This is where all your shows are at. This is your main theater. So you've got this one, and then you have your little kind of stage area there in that main hub below Oceans. It wasn't a bad theater. There wasn't a lot of obstructed views. The seats are kind of tight. But that's like most seating in these theaters. Like if you're on the end and somebody's trying to get to a seat in the middle, you got to stand up and back your ass up into the folding part of your chair so that people can get by. Then there is this other theater that I never got over to for a show. This was the only time I got over to it, and there was it was really kind of hard to find. But it has this really cool entranceway with a lot of cool just oddity stuff. Which if you like weird stuff, you could just spend forever just kind of poking through the stuff in this walkway.
Everything is sourced in-house.
So it's got a huge stage. It doesn't seem that big seating wise. This is wherever I walked in. This was a shopping show. The shopping show for port.
So much quality processing while each piece.
Now we get to the night. Tired, winding down. I did walk a lot today in Nassau. Catch some comedy, and then head out to Spice H2O for the Glow party. And it was very, very packed. I almost ran over a couple children. Daily thoughts. I like Nassau, but I've been to Nassau a lot. It had been a while since I'd been to some of these places. That's why I did the walking tour. But tomorrow on the next episode is a totally different experience. Because if it was my first trip to Nassau, I'd spend more time on the shore. But after, being here several times, I thought I'd be able to enjoy a quieter ship. And I was surprised that I didn't. So tomorrow we'll face a completely different port experience when we visit Great Stirrup Cay, and we'll have the whole day on the island. And will I make the same decision again? Will I feel like I got my money's worth out of Great Stirrup Cay part of the day and spend the rest of my day back on the ship? We will find out in the next episode. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and be sure to click on the playlist for this side-to-side challenge to check out all the other videos, and I'll see you out on our travels. Thanks for stopping in. Bye.